Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm KXAN City Hall reporter Grace Reeder, and today I am joined by digital data reporter Christopher Adams. We're talking all things elections today, Christopher. Thank you so much for doing this with me.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Grace. Good to see you.
You as well. So if folks are watching this today, which today is October 6th, it is the last day to register to vote. Christopher, we also know that we've got election stuff rapidly approaching.
Yes.
So let's ramble through a few of those dates for people really quickly. 2 weeks from today, early voting starts. Can't believe that it is already that time of year, but that is Monday, October 20th. That runs through Halloween, so October 31st. Friday, October 24th is the last day to apply for ballot by mail, and then, of course, Election Day is November 4th. Any other dates you want to throw in there, Christopher?
That is it. You got it covered.
Excellent. Okay, so Christopher, first and foremost, I would love if you could start by walking people through. They don't need to memorize those numbers because they're on your voter guide. Talk about what's on your voter guide.
Yes, the voter guide is published already. It's on KXAN.com. You'll find it on the homepage, and that is kind of your one-stop shop for everything you need to know before you head to the polls, either during early voting or on Election Day itself, which, as Grace mentioned, is on November 4th. So on that voter guide, we've got a few things. First of all, it's telling you what is on the ballot. Now, no matter where you live across Central Texas or even across the whole state of Texas, everyone will be voting on 17 proposed amendments to the state constitution. Now, in addition to that, we've also got a lot of local races, things like some city council races, a couple of mayoral races, and then things like school boards as well, school board trustee positions, and some bond propositions from school districts too.
I just want to emphasize for people in there that this is not just City of Austin that we have covered in the voter guide. It's everywhere. I just went and dug through it, and there's a ton of information on there on where you go, when you need to go, what you're going to be voting on depending on where you live. So that is a really useful one-stop shop for people. Go check that out at KXAN.com. Christopher, what can people expect from the KXAN team and from you specifically? I know you dive in pretty hard during elections as we move forward over the next month.
Yeah, well, KXAN is your local election headquarters, so we have you covered before Election Day, on Election Day itself, and then results coverage after as those final results come in as well. So we've got a couple of things that we'll be tracking. First of all will be the early vote totals, how many people are actually showing up to vote. Each election season I do a early vote tracker that is published on KXAN.com, and you can see those numbers change from day to day to see how many or how few people are voting in this election. We know off-year elections like this, it's not a presidential election, it's not a midterm election, it's mostly just local, and like I mentioned earlier, those statewide propositions. Those kind of elections tend to not have many people turn out to vote, so we'll see how low the turnout is this time, unfortunately. But then also on election night itself, we are your go-to place for all of the election coverage. We actually will be calling 107 races on election night, a lot of different local races that we'll be tracking, and you can find those results, of course, on election night itself at KXAN.com.
And I want to highlight one is the City Hall reporter that I'm going to be covering specifically, and that's the City of Austin's Prop Q. That's the tax rate election that Austinites specifically are going to be voting on this November. Should that pass, it will increase the average homeowner's taxpayer bill by roughly $302 a year, and that's reoccurring, not just 1 year. That money will go to things like homelessness services, parks, public safety, public health. We've done a lot of reporting going into that proposition actually landing on the ballot that you can find on our website, and we'll continue to follow that for you, including on a special episode of Inside Austin's Agenda that will air 1 week from now. I believe that's the 16th. What day is it? Yep. To talk specifically we're going to hear from people who are on both sides of that issue. So we're going to continue to follow that really closely for you. Christopher, is there anything else that you want to highlight that folks should be paying attention to over the next month?
Yeah, a couple things to know as you are heading to the ballot box. We've got a space on the KXAN voter guide of what you need to bring and what you're not allowed to bring. So of course, Texas is a voter ID state, so everyone needs to bring some sort of voter identification or photo identification, I should say. Typically that's a driver's license, but you could also bring a passport, even a handgun license. There are several different ID options that you can choose from. We've got a list of those on that voter guide. And then what you're not allowed to bring is just as important. You're really not technically allowed to have your cell phone out in the polling location. So a lot of people might have, a note on their phone of, okay, these are the races, this is how I'm going to vote in each race. You're not really supposed to have your cell phone out in the polling location, so it's better to have that written on a piece of paper. Other things, of course, you're not allowed to record inside the voting location, so no cameras, no phone recorders, no sound recorders, everything like that. Again, we've got that all broken down for you, what you need to bring and what you cannot bring on the KXAN Voter Guide.
And Christopher, of course, every time we have an election, we have people reach out to us with questions that may not be answered on that guide. We're always working really hard to make sure that we're answering those specific questions for people. So feel free to reach out to us at KXAN Report It. We'll hop on that for you and get you answers. Or if it's a big enough question that we get enough questions about, then we will do a whole story about it. So please do send us those questions as they pop up. Thank you so much for joining us. Happy election season.